How's it going, everybody? This is Shay D of Shay D Horror, back with another watch, another review. This time, we are back to the Stephen King adaptations. I'm going back and forth with different movies here, and then back to the Stephen King horror stuff, giving it a rewatch for most of them. Today, it is Stephen King's Sleepwalkers. Let's go ahead and get into the synopsis of this. Only Stephen King, the dark genius behind Misery, The Shining, and Pet Sematary could have written Stephen King's Sleepwalkers, a classic horror story that takes the perfect Norman Rockwell town and turns it inside out. Brian Krause and Alice Craig star in this terrifying tale of modern day vampires who prey on virtuous young women. Madchen Amick, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly at all, is the sexually curious virgin who falls for the new boy in school only to learn too late that he's a life sucking sleepwalker, mutating at will from golden boy to savage monster. Kraus stalks Amick to feed his seductive mother. As the tension mounts and the casualties pile up, the town's tabbies gather for a final chilling showdown with the monsters in their midst. And we all know it's not nice to hurt people's felines. Ah, little pun on words there. With a cameo appearance by Stephen King himself, Stephen King's Sleepwalkers is sexy, sleek, and horrifyingly scary. The most frightening Stephen King movie yet, says Jim Whaley of Cinema Showcase. Okay, so we have Sleepwalkers. This is rated R. It has a runtime of 1 hour and 31 minutes. It is from the year 1992, and this particular version is put out by Columbia TriStar Home Video. In the intro, there's a description of what Sleepwalkers is, a shapeshifter and its relations to vampires and felines. We have that right on the cover here. Here you go. Sleepwalker, noun, nomadic shape shifting creatures with human and feline origins, vulnerable to the deadly scratch of the cat. The sleepwalker feeds upon the life force of virginal human females, probable source of the vampire legend. So we have a pretty cool cover here too. I've always liked this cover right here too. I've seen this one time previously, many years ago. Time to revisit and give the old VHS a watch. Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker himself, has an uncredited role right in the beginning as a police officer, and I do like how this one starts. Also fitting that the Santo and Johnny song, the instrumental Sleepwalk, is here too. Pretty cool. What the fuck is going on with this dude and his mom? What the hell? The old theater location looks pretty cool. I just recently saw my first film of 2024 in the theater, the new Blumhouse release, Night Swim, and although everyone seems to be giving it shit reviews, I liked it. It's original. I thought it was a good start to this year. A lot of good stuff coming out this year, originals and sequels. And I'm personally always down for a new original concept. Night Swim was fun. I personally enjoyed it. So yeah, Night Swim also has a cat in it. But back to Sleepwalkers here. Um, I do remember the actress here from Sleepwalkers. She's been in a few things, a lot of familiar scenes as I gave this a rewatch, and some familiar songs out here also. Like, one of the songs even has a relation to like the Fugees. I don't know if the Fugees remade that song, that like Ready or Not, or if they sampled it, or what's going on with that like theme going on throughout this. I noticed on the back cover here this. So it says the first Stephen King story written expressly for the screen. I had noticed that, and if you watch my videos, I had already covered the what was the movie? Maximum Overdrive. I had already covered that. I was under the impression for some reason that Maximum Overdrive see, I can't talk, which I previously covered. Check out that video if you haven't, was the first Stephen King story strictly for the screen. But after looking, it appears that Maximum Overdrive was based on one of King's stories called Trucks. So I guess Sleepwalkers here is the first King work made just for the screen. Guess I learned something new watching this. I didn't know that till now. That's very interesting. So I thought that was cool. Apparently, Sleepwalkers is the first one written solely for the screen, whereas I thought it was Maximum Overdrive, but that is based on one of his short stories called Trucks. So I thought that was cool, learning something new this time. There is some fun practical effects, some questionable CGI effects, but it's all part of the charm of this early 90s flick. I had fun with this. A lot of cameos and a lot of recognizable people as well pop up in here. Even look for a few well known horror directors in here that make an appearance. That was kind of cool. That's something I would have never noticed back in the day, but it's cool. There's like freaking Joe Dante in here. Uh, what is it? John Landis, Clive Barker, Stephen King himself, just some cool stuff. Toby Hooper, a cool scene where someone gets their hand ripped off. That had me laughing too a few times. I think Scream Factory put out a nice Blu-ray collector's edition of this, but I got me an old, trusty VHS tape. Was a bit more grit and nostalgia for me giving this a watch. It was kind of fun again. The tone of this is more of a fun vibe, but that underlying story and the relationship between the mother and son is some dark, depraved, weird shit. This is a bit of an oddity in the Stephen King catalog, and I enjoyed it. Lots of cats, memorable lines, memorable characters, and a kind of goofy yet dark, fun ride of a film. The cop that travels around with his pet cat, he's a funny and cool character. The main actor in here plays a good role as well. He plays it up pretty campy and cheesy with moments of silly and a lot of moments of just being a psycho. The look of the Sleepwalkers is super early 90s. The transformation scenes are that early 90s CGI, but as I said earlier, there is still some cool practical stuff in here as well. It gets plenty bloody. A good amount of blood is shed. This was directed by Mick Garris, who has done quite a few Stephen King adaptations, including The Stand, The Shining, that TV version, which I have but haven't seen, Writing the Bullet, and even more. He's also known for Masters of Horror, Fear Itself, and a slew of other TV movies and theatrical movies. Ron Perlman even pops up in here for a bit role as well. This one won't be for everyone, but if you just want to have fun with an early 90s horror flick, this does it. It's well paced, it's funny. It had me cracking up a few times. It has cool cameos, like I said, the horror directors that pop up in here, as well as some different actors. A crazy ass story, and just a fun, campy, good time to be had. I enjoyed it. This was Sleepwalkers.